Welcome back to Inside Hollywood. A verdict was reached in the federal trial involving Todd and Julie Chrisley. According to Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the pair famous for their USA Network reality show Chrisley Knows Best was found guilty on all counts in a federal court in Georgia after a trial that lasted almost 3 weeks. Julie was also found guilty of wire fraud. They had been accused of forging documents to get loans and rental property and were charged with criminal bank fraud and tax evasion. In August 2019, a federal grand jury indicted the Chrisleys on 12 counts of bank and wire fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy. The Chrisleys rejected all charges. The trial started on May 16 and is still going on today. Todd defended himself on Instagram on August 12 of that year, attributing the error to a member of the family's trusted staff and claiming that he had been stealing from them. The reality star claimed that it all started in 2012 and involved deplorable practices like creating fictitious paperwork, forging our signs, and threatening other employees with violence if they spoke up. The couple's state tax evasion claim in Georgia was dropped in October 2019, but they are still under federal investigation for allegedly avoiding taxes on national income. On November 21, a federal judge ruled against the Chrisleys. Who are Todd and Julie Chrisley? Todd and Julie are married hosts of the self-titled reality series Chrisley Knows Best. Part 2 of the show's 9th season, which debuted on USA Network in 2014, will start in June. The program has also been renewed for a 10th season, slated to premiere later this year. The family patriarch and the show's main character is Todd, renowned for his brutally honest treatment of his 5 children: Lindsay, Kyle, Chase, Savannah, and Grayson. The conflict in the family served as inspiration for Growing Up, Chrisley, a documentary series that follows the lives of Chase and Savannah as they get older. In addition, Todd is the host and producer of the matchmaking and speed dating television program Love Limo. Todd and Julie were detained in August 2019 on 12 counts of bank and wire fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy after being accused of omitting around $2 million in state taxes between 2008 and 2016. Todd and Julie were also charged with a conspiracy charge. The prosecution also claimed that Todd gave orders to a worker to falsify income and asset documents and used their production company 7C Production to hide over $1 million in reality TV income from the IRS. At the time of the arrest, the Chrisleys turned themselves in and proclaimed their innocence. In October that year, the Georgia Department of Revenue cleared the Chrisley Knows Best performers of any state tax evasion charges by agreeing that they had overpaid for 4 years and had no knowledge of the other 4. For just 1 year of erroneous filing, they only owed back taxes totaling less than $77,000. Why are accusations currently pending against Todd and Julie Chrisley? According to a press release, the Georgia Department of Revenue signed a settlement agreement that ended a 2-year investigation into the couple's alleged state tax liabilities. However, Todd and Julie still faced federal charges for allegedly evading federal taxes during those same years. 1 count of conspiracy to defraud the United States, 5 counts of bank fraud, 1 count of tax fraud, 1 count of bank fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to conduct bank fraud are all brought against both people. Julie Chrisley is facing further counts of wire fraud and obstructing justice, according to Atlanta's Fox 5. The accountant for Chrisley, Peter Tarantino, is charged with 1 count of conspiracy to defraud the United States and willfully file fraudulent tax returns. When did the Todd and Julie Chrisley case begin? The Tennessean reports that jury selection for the Todd and Julie Chrisley trials started on May 16 and that opening statements followed on May 17. 3 to 4 weeks are expected to pass during the couple's trial in Atlanta, where the indictment was submitted before they left for Tennessee. What were the Chrisley trial's opening statements? Auxiliary U.S. Attorney Annalise Peters claimed in her opening statement on May 17 that Todd and Julie had falsified paperwork to banks to inflate their wealth so they could borrow over $30 million, which they had then spent on their extravagant lifestyle and hidden money from the IRS. Peters, an insider, told the jury that they fabricate documents and lie boldly to get what they want whenever they want. Todd Chrisley's lawyer, Bruce E. Morris, said that Mark Braddock, the couple's former employee, impersonated Todd and carried out the fraud behind the couple's backs after being sacked in 2012. Peters, who referred to them as fraudsters, claimed that the pair continued their act even after their relationship with Braddock was broken. According to the article, Tarantino's attorney argued that his client was incompetent and unqualified to handle Chrisley's affairs and mentioned that the CPA test had been unsuccessful for 20 years. Despite having no credentials, the lawyer said Tarantino is not a criminal. What sort of punishment, if any, would Todd and Julie Chrisley get? When the Chrisleys were initially charged in 2019, tax attorney Dawn Delia answered questions from the public. She explained the consequences the Chrisleys would face if proven responsible for the alleged crimes. At the time, Delia said that if the case went to trial and the jury found in the government's favor, the IRS would be able to seize all of their assets to pay off the debt. She claims that they are dealing with a severe problem and that the IRS escalates the charges from administrative to criminal in the face of a challenging situation. She says that Todd and Julie might spend up to 5 years in prison for tax evasion, possibly even more if the jury rules in their favor. What was the verdict in Todd and Julie Chrisley's case? After a nearly 3-week-long trial, Todd and Julie were found guilty of all charges on June 7 in a federal court in Georgia. The source claims that the Chrisleys might serve up to 30 years in prison. What's Todd and Julie Chrisley's sentence? On November 21, a federal judge condemned the Chrisley couple, according to Insider and Fox 5 Atlanta. Julie received a sentence of 7 years in prison and 16 months of probation, while Todd received a sentence of 12 years in prison. Insider claims that Tarantino also received a 36-month prison sentence. According to the publication, the couple's former accountant, who was found guilty of taking part in their fraud plan in June, is due to go to prison on May 1, 2023, following hip surgery. Now let's talk about how the children will fare after the sentence. She announced that she would be adopting her niece Chloe, age 10, and her brother Grayson, age 16, on the episode of her podcast Unlocked with Savannah Chrisley that aired on Monday. Before discovering that both of her parents had received significant prison sentences after being found guilty of crimes, including tax evasion and bank fraud, the 25-year-old reality television celebrity discussed the potential for taking on the role of legal guardian. The Georgian actress broke down in tears as she remembered how her appearances on Chrisley Knows Best from 2014 to 2021 helped make her sister and niece Rose famous. Even though the two won't start their term until January 15, 2023, Savannah voiced concern that they wouldn't be able to celebrate their first Thanksgiving as a family and return home on Tuesday with custody of a 16-year-old and a 10-year-old. Grayson and Chloe would have to worry about their parents, Savannah bemoaned. Finding a way to teach two young children who are still developing, even the situation's management, is the most challenging part. According to reports, Todd and Julie asked the judge to hold them without arrest for helping their suicidal adolescent. They intended to challenge the fines, according to their attorney Bruce Morris, who spoke with DailyMail.com on a recent Tuesday morning. Guys, that's all for today. If you want to see similar videos, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Press the bell icon so that you can catch all upcoming videos.